Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. I'm Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp. It is Sunday, July 5th, 2026. Welcome to July. For those of you who are new, please be sure to check out my website at lisahopp.com. I'm also on Instagram under Spiritual Coach Lisa M. Hopp. I'm on TikTok under Lisa M. Hopp. And I'm also especially on my Facebook business page under Lisa M. Hopp, Spiritual Coach and Medium. And for those of you who listen every week and give me feedback and are so kind and just so generous, thank you so much. Keep the suggestions, the comments coming. I would appreciate it so very much. Today's topic, freedom begins within, celebrating your inner independence. Yesterday when I woke up for July 4th, here in America, for those of you who listen around the world, thank you so much. I woke up yesterday and I declared my own independence. I've done that throughout my life in some way, especially in adulthood more. But today was a new declaration. It was embodying my remembered self. It was also the strong intention of fully purging those unhealthy things and unhealthy people in my life. Now, when I talk about unhealthy things, I mean those things that cause me distress, that cause me strain, that cause me, any anxiety I may have. Yes, I actually joined a community about healthy life too over the weekend, which I already kind of belonged to, but a new page about it. And so it's very focused on diet. I already eat a healthy diet, but when I talk about purging unhealthy things, it's in that case, purging unhealthy diet means what? Your body tells you what it likes and what it doesn't like. If sugar makes you nervous, it is best to limit sugar. So that's what I want to be very clear about that. It's all right to treat. Yesterday I treated myself to ice cream for July 4th. But do I eat ice cream every single day? No, because that would not make my body feel good. That would not make my nervous system feel good. So that's something very important to keep in mind when you are embodying your ideal self. What do you want? Or what do you go after because it's a habit or a crutch? Or, sometimes we just go after what doesn't bring us comfort. We think it brings us comfort, but it really brings us discomfort. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. But this particular podcast today is really focusing on independence that is doesn't necessarily start physically first, but starts with the intention, the mental, and then the emotional. This weekend we are celebrating the birth of our nation here and the freedoms that so many sacrificed to protect. But today I'm inviting you to consider that other type of freedom, the freedom that no one can give you and no one can take away. And what if true independence isn't just something that we celebrate once a year? What if it's something we choose every single day? This morning I woke up and I independently thought about what I wanted to put in my coffee. And I said to myself, what would independent Lisa choose? She would choose that. She would not choose that. And so I chose what my ideal independent self would choose. That's what I'm talking about. Many people are physically free, but not emotionally free. Excuse me, they are emotionally imprisoned. Are you free from worrying about what people think? Are you free from worry at all? Are you free from needing everyone to approve of you? Are you free from the mistakes in quotes, by the way, because there's no such thing as mistakes, of your past? Are you free from fear? These are the invisible chains, and they keep us from living fully. Fear, guilt, shame, childhood programming, limiting beliefs, comparison, perfectionism, resentment, unforgiveness, and especially victimhood. I can gratefully say that I've never felt like I've been a victim. And I have just not. I've taken full responsibility for everything in my life, even if it was at the actions of another. I just feel empowered to do that. I am a victor. I'm not a victim. People who, and I don't mean this about events, I mean people who languish in the living out of being a victim, they are unhealed inside. They are looking to someone else to blame. They are looking to, this happened to me, so I'm going to live it now. We are here to grow beyond that. We are here to become a grander version of ourselves, to create, to expand, to explore, to have adventures. We're not here to stay in place and lock ourselves up. Freedom is it's a decision before it's even a feeling. As I made a decision yesterday, and as I made a decision today, every day I have to remake that decision. And if you choose to remember your full self, to embody your own independence, no matter what that means for you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically, it is a decision that is made every single day. And it's courageous, and it's self-loving, and it's so healthy. So, I choose freedom, whether my emotions are quite there or not, because the emotions can catch up later, and they can catch up in a variety of ways. That's why it's daily. And this especially applies to forgiveness, because sometimes we have to forgive and then forgive again and then forgive again, the same experience, the same person, and especially ourselves. Perhaps you've been ready to leave unhealthy relationships, to trust your intuition, to begin healing. There's many things that we want to do, but we have to catch up emotionally to it. Choose it now. Ask for help. Be willing to take baby steps and watch doors and windows fly open. And let's speak about that. Because sometimes we are in our own little prison cell, or our own room, where we feel that the door is locked, but the door has been open all along. So be willing to not only declare that independence, but to trust that if you walk up to that door, the door will open. And every day we make choices. We can sign our own Declaration of Independence, but again, we have to do it every day. I want you to repeat this after me right now. I declare my independence from. What comes in mind? Say it to yourself. I encourage you to journal. Sit down and write in your journal, I declare my independence from. That independence may be fear, it may be scarcity, maybe self-hatred, maybe doubt, anxiety about the future, living small, believing I am unworthy, having any grudges, any anger, anything that may be holding you back, because you are an unlimited being. You are capable of achieving anything that you set your mind to. It is ourselves that hold us back. And there's so much fear around us. When I woke up this morning having my breakfast, the news was on. And the news was all bad news for the most part. Because fear is powerful. It holds us in place. It keeps us tuned in to watching. It keeps us locked up. I let it scan by me and I note it. Now, everything I note what they're trying to do, but they're doing it because of, its ratings. They're doing it because the higher ups say it's a way to control the population. But we are unlimited. We are powerful. We are made in that DNA of our highest creator. It is through us as much as it is around us. And it is not separate from us. We separate ourselves from it. And if you are listening to this podcast for the first time, let me tell you, I've said that so many times before, and I'm going to say it again. We are God within, not just God on the outside. But we are taught we are separate. We are taught to have fear. We are taught that we may go to hell. We may be taught that we will make this human God angry just by having a moment, just by a choice that God might not like. It's so unhealthy. It makes my inner body cringe. I knew as a child that can't be true. That God would be unloving. Because at 5 or 6 years old, I knew of a loving God. I had just come from that energy fully. And I was still understanding of it. But we are inundated by the matter around us, the three-dimensional matter of people, of pulpit, of TV, of internet, of, social media, of anything around us, of what especially our ancestors dropped down to us in their beliefs. And so we are dealing with, well, maybe they're right and I'm wrong all the time. But again, no doubt, your beliefs are created by you. They're your own. What belief empowers you? What belief makes you feel like you're on the right path? What belief opens up those doors and windows and has you walking through that prison door? That's the one. And you got to hold tight to it no matter what anyone else tells you. And forgiveness is hard. But forgiveness is the ultimate freedom. When we refuse to forgive, we're often giving somebody else continued influence over our peace. Do you want to give that person you can't forgive that much power? No, you don't. Forgiveness doesn't say what happened was okay. It says, I'm choosing freedom. And you don't have to verbalize it. Actually, our mouth doesn't have to be used a lot unless we're standing up for ourselves in a moment. But truly, anybody who would help you spiritually, who is on their real strong spiritual journey, would say to you, keep quiet. Those who are starting a business, that have goals, that have plans, that have intentions, they keep quiet. They just do it. They just focus on it and let the results show up for themselves. But so forgiveness is an inside job. And it's so important. It's necessary because it releases you from the bonds. It truly does. And also it will make you happy. And if it's somebody who had a lot of pain and intentionally wanted to do something to you, and I mean intentionally because Sometimes people are acting from a lot of pain and they don't understand fully what they're doing, or maybe they can't help themselves. But still, what you choose to do and what you choose to say is always intentional. Stop for a moment and ask, is this good? Is this, would I want this done to me? And so I used to think that maybe people were more unintentional. Not everyone, some are intentional. But now I'm like, no. The people in my life that I thought were unintentional, they were intentional. They make their conscious choices of what they allow. And so, but imagine, it makes me smile to say it, you've forgiven them. If they were to somehow find out, again, you don't have to tell them, but we're all one, so we feel it, that you've forgiven them, that will drive them insane. I mean, not clinically insane, but it's kind of a win-win. It really is. What do you mean you're all good? But I'm still in pain. Oh, I hope that happened. We should want for people to heal. But my was a bit ornery. Right? So it releases you. It empowers you. It cuts the cords that are so unhealthy and gives you freedom. And freedom starts from within. Everything starts from within. But freedom requires responsibility. We may want freedom without responsibility. Like, people come to me for hypnosis and they're just like, okay, put me to sleep and cure me. They don't want the responsibility. It's interactive. Your subconscious is shut down, but you're listening to me. We're talking during the hypnosis session. Real freedom. Ask, what choices am I making? Am I complaining? Am I waiting? I found myself waiting last night. First, I've been getting so much abundance that I started to wait to see that I still was in an abundant flow, which automatically blocked it. I was afraid it would stop. And I don't mean fear-based, I mean concerned it would stop. And so what happened? I blocked it. Allow yourself to be wide open, to allow yourself to be in the flow. And like I did, accept responsibility when you catch yourself waiting. And waiting can be checking your bank account too much when you've asked for more money. It can be waiting for the phone call when you've asked for a significant relationship. It can, and that applies to relationship in a multi-faceted way. It can be waiting to meet someone. It can be waiting for someone in your life to change. No, we're in the moment. It's done. And we watch our thoughts. We watch our emotions. And we independently live as if it's already done. Freedom comes from remembering who you are. You were never created to live in fear. You were created in love. You were created with purpose. If you are on, of course you're on this earth if you're listening to me, but yes, spirit world does. But if you're listening to me right now, you were created with a purpose. We are here for a purpose, even if we don't want to be here some days. Even if we are not sure why we're here. Don't give up on it. Don't force it. Don't resist against it. But you are created with a purpose. You matter. You are more than enough. You are created with intuition. You are created with divine guidance. You don't become worthy. You remember you already are. That is what the decision to be free means. That you are here for a higher good of yourself and for the earth. And it doesn't matter if that is small, medium, large. Some would say to you, and it's true, maybe you've heard this, when it speaks to lay purpose, we always think perhaps about what's my vocation to be, what's the job I'm supposed to have, what am I supposed to volunteer at this? You're here to remember that you are love and that you're supposed to give love. That's all it's about. What does love mean? That's why those who are most in love thrive. Love for themselves, first and foremost. Love for others. The more that you can give that out, the more abundance you will see, because you're feeling gratitude. That's why gratitude is such a big deal. And gratitude cannot be faked, because that universal energy, God source, it knows who you are. That's why it's so often said by we that are best teachers, you get who you are, not what you affirm with your words, not what you journal, but you get who you really are. That's what comes back to you. So if you're saying thank you and you don't mean it, you're not going to get anything back. That is about true abundance. Because heaven knows when you're faking it, when you're inauthentic. It'd be best just to be genuine and to have a moment and say, I'm not feeling grateful today. Work through it though, and find a way to feel full gratitude, and then work your ladder up to love, joy, feeling that purpose. Your purpose may be the smallest to you, but the largest to earth. The purpose may be, I'm just going to give that person something wonderful today. And it may be just a compliment. Do you know, I'm big on complimenting now. I used to be much shyer. But I just did it where I was walking in through a door and someone had a beautiful dress on. I went, I love your dress. That is a beautiful dress. She lit up. See? Now, she's going to carry that for as long as she wants to carry that, depending on her day. She was a stranger, so I don't know. But it's important to hold the door open, to wish someone a good day. I love when people wish me a good day. It's just I'm so grateful for it. I love it. Because I can tell that they mean it when they do it. You can tell when people don't mean it. Just as you can tell when people say I love you and they're not feeling it. I've had that happen to me. It's okay, though. It's just let them say it. And I don't mean, and I mean that in a way, just I don't want to be misunderstood. Perhaps it comes from the intention of, I want to love you, so I don't call them out. But I don't mean it in that when someone says I love you, that they're not doing enough for me, or there's they haven't, they're not taking enough action towards my happiness. It's not what I'm talking about. That's not love either. Meaning me feeling that about it isn't love. I'm talking about there have been people in my life that would tell you, my listeners, that they love me, but yet have allowed unloving things to happen to me in front of them or because of them. Whether it be hurtful words, disrespect, conditionally giving. When we're conditionally giving, it's not love. I call it just writing invoices. And you expect the invoice to be paid at a later date. That isn't love. But we cannot give love if we do not have love within for ourselves. We are an empty vessel. So that is why it is true to be self-full and to fill that vessel with love. Just give yourself a hug every once in a while with self-love. Ask yourself what would be kind to you today. Ask yourself, how can I forgive myself for that past when I was just trying the best I could? Self-love means that you can become overflow. And then overflow goes out to others and they get the benefit of your self-love. Again, if you can't siphon from a dry tank. You can only siphon from a tank that's filled with blessed water. So fill thee up, all right? No matter what that means. It could be walking in nature. It could be taking a chance on yourself and others. Whatever that means to you. So I'm going to leave you today with some questions to process, to ponder. And yes, I encourage you to journal. I get ahas and I journaled. And I get, I've been noting things in journaling. Noting what I desire. Journal it. Put it down. Because in putting it down, noting it, it makes it real. It brings it towards you. But these questions are something, again, to process. What am I ready to become free from? What story has run my life long enough? Because we can cycle. We can live the same story every day, get up and do the same things every day, and then hope for change on the outside. But nothing changes on the outside until the inner self changes. What fear has been making my decisions? I love this one. If I truly believed that God or a higher source in any way was with me, what would I do next? Yeah. And lastly, what would I become if I stopped asking permission to be myself? Doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about you. The closest people in your life are usually the ones that will least support you. Truth. I almost went to a whole nother podcast on that one. But it doesn't have to be 30 minutes. I will tell you that the people that are the biologically closest to me, that would say they are my closest people, probably are not going to hear this podcast. I mean, some will, but not most. There are people that say they love me and roll their eyes at me. There are people that just bring their own projections onto me. See, it's hard for those closest to us, meaning perhaps the ones that grew up with us, or the ones that have known us for decades, or, I'm a different person than I was. Oh my gosh, I am not only a different person than I was 10 years ago, I can't guarantee I won't be different than I was last week by tomorrow. So people only sometimes have the real of you that they first came into your world knowing you as. And they also come from their own inner self, their own comforts, their own discomforts, their own beliefs, their own story. And so they see themselves separate from you. Even if you grew up in the same home, we're separate. And it's truth. Siblings who grew up in one home still grew up in a different home with different parents and different perceptions and different beliefs. So if someone near and dear to you laughs at you, understand, well, I guess I'm being told to tell you they're only really laughing at themselves. They're only coming from what they are capable of dealing with. And so, is it fair? Does it mean that you won't feel any hurt? Because we want those that have known us the longest to believe in us. But what I'm telling you is it's so common. The ones that celebrate you will usually be the ones that are new to you. But if there have been people that have been in your life since birth or since you were a child, if they truly love you, they will celebrate you. They'll just celebrate you last. Let them find you. Every reincarnation of you on this earth, every growth, every reboot, every new chapter, let them find you. Don't worry about dragging them along. So important. You have always had permission to be who you are. You wouldn't be here unless you were important and unique and special. Walk like the God and Goddess you are. Okay? Because that's what you're here to do. You're here to remember that you are that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that connected with you in some way. And if you are on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and share. Instagram, please follow. Facebook business page, Lisa M. Hobbs, Spiritual Coach and Medium. Follow, please. And comment. You're allowed. Keep it positive. Being really constructive more. I'll read it. I'll think about it. Right? And anywhere else, please. Because, and also help others if something connected with you. Pass it on to them. So very important to serve each other. It's also a very important reason why we're here. Thank you again. Have a good rest of the weekend if you're listening on Sunday. And many blessings until next time.